Hi everyone, how are you? So today I'm going to be coloring in some more of this page in the Fairy Tales and Folklore coloring book by Emily. Hi everyone, how are you? So today I'm going to be, okay, my sound is working great. So this is from Emily Lydhall Oberg's book, and it's been taking me forever to get back to this page, so I thought I'd just do a live. I thought it would inspire me to finally get some more of this page done. I'm using the Blackwidow color pencils, and I'm going to be coloring the leaves today. And I'm going to be using 5 pencils: lime fruit and zombie and grass blade, green grass, and the darkest one will be fang green. So that is my combination I'm going to use on the leaves today. And I just thought I'm going to start with the lime fruit and just start coloring in. I think these Blackwidow pencils work really well on this paper. It's very smooth paper. Very good quality. It works well. Watercolor also works really well on this. Any kind of ink tints or water soluble pencils, I think works really well on this smooth paper. So what's going on today? I thought I would share my thoughts for today. What's been on my mind just at the moment is I have my other channel where I do tarot readings and some astrology, and it's called Daily Empress Tarot. And I got a couple of videos pop up on my feed about how some people giving testimony about how evil they feel tarot cards are. And I'm a Christian and a tarot reader. And so, of course, I was interested. So I said, all right, let me hear what they have to say, why they think it's evil. And so I listened to a couple of videos, and, not the one, I'm not going to name them. I'm not trying to pick on anyone. And I realize this is a very volatile topic, I guess, with some people. They really, going to feel very strongly about the topic. And so that's why I wanted to just address it, to give you my perspective, my opinion. It's all is my opinion. I'm not claiming to have the truth, or, any, religious truth here. I'm just want to share something because I think that I've noticed from the videos, it just seemed like, it seemed like it was more their issue than the cards, and I'll get into why I say that. In one video, the girl was saying that she had mental health issues, anxiety, depression, and knowing that she had mental health issues, then one day her mother brought home, she says that her mother brought home a deck of cards, tarot cards, and she started reading tarot cards while she was struggling with mental health issues, and then it went downhill from there. So right off the bat, I'm like, all right, well, if you have mental health issues, no matter what you've done, whether you got into tarot reading or you got into anything else, you'd have to get your mental health issues addressed, any health issues, and look at that as the first and most important issue there, instead of saying, well, I had mental health issues and then the cards made it worse. I mean, maybe it did or didn't, but it just seemed to me like, well, this sounds like it was more your mental health issues, and then perhaps you went a little bit too far in your belief system as far as dealing with tarot decks or astrology. And another video I saw where the woman said she was really into New Age, and all the yoga and this, that, and went to mediums, and she got into reading cards, and that basically she described that she said the cards told her to, basically, make this major decision. I don't want to say it. Yeah, I don't want to be, like I said, I don't want to identify anyone here. But basically, she said the cards told me to do this terrible thing. And I was like, whoa, 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 back up. Back it up. First of all, in my opinion, in my experience, they're pieces of paper with a picture on it. And however you interpret it, that's your mind interpreting it. Now, could you be being influenced by some negative forces out there? Possibly. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. But when someone says, oh, the cards told me to, purchase this, or to, I don't know, to take that job, or to get on the bus and go to another city, or, like some major action you took that you're claiming the cards told you to do that. No, the cards don't tell you what to do. You pull out a picture and you decide how you're going to interpret that. And your interpretation at the time, and any combination of cards, that can be interpreted multiple ways. So if you've got mental health issues, or if you choose to think of something really terrible and then look at the pictures and the cards and say, oh, the cards are telling me, this or that, then that's on you. That's on you and your mind and how you chose to interpret the pictures, right? They're like Rorschach cards. You're looking at it, you have Rorschach, or the psychologists use, and a lot of psychologists use tarot as well, because you're just looking at a picture and you're seeing what pops up in your mind, and that can, from your unconscious, from your subconscious, and that's basically your personal interpretation. Because the way I'm moving on to grass blade. I just did lime fruit, and now I'm up to, I just did zombie, now I'm up to the next darkest one, grass blade. But yeah, that's on you and your mind and what you came up with. And there's nothing telling you have to do this or that in the cards. It's not meant to be used that way anyways. You shouldn't give your free will power to anyone or anything, right? You have free will for a reason. So, I mean, I just found it. So I see some of these videos, like I said, I just watched a couple of them, but I was just really, in my opinion, the people, I want to clear this up too. These people are putting out this scary notions, misinformation, you could say, that as if looking at a deck of cards that you're suddenly going to lose your mind and make these irrational major life decisions, and you're being possessed and all this other nonsense, in my opinion. And I realize, again, there's going to be some people have very strong opinions on this. So I'm not, going to debate it. You believe what you want to believe. But I know for a fact that the cards don't tell you what to do. You decide what you want with your life. That's another fallacy I've noticed is that, just in general, talking to people about the topic comes up, is there's this people who, are very strongly against and don't know really anything about it. They assume that if you read tarot cards or if you look at astrology charts, that you're living your life by it. Like, as if you don't make a move in life without the cards or the astrology charts telling you to, which is complete nonsense. Astrology charts, and now I'm going to move on to green grass. Astrology charts and tarot cards do not tell you what to do. They're not meant to be used that way either, because again, you're giving away your free will, and any good tarot reader will tell you that. The tarot gives you ideas, food for thoughts, things to consider, because what it is again, you're looking at pictures, and like Rorschach test, you're looking at pictures and you're seeing what your unconscious, which may be as Jung would describe, Carl Jung would describe, getting information from the collective unconscious, possibly, to help you, guide you, and give you food for thought with whatever major decision or whatever. I mean, whatever you're looking into, whatever you're looking at, having, whatever you're reading about. And it's just your particular perception from your own bias and your own life experience and your own unconscious. And yeah, for entertainment, I will, sometimes try to make predictions, but I never claim, and nobody can nobody can claim to be perfectly psychic and know everything. There's no one out there like that. And the cards don't give you that power, and neither does astrology. It's just something that you can use to, wonder about, and food for thought. Think about it. Think, oh well, maybe this is going to happen. We'll see. And, sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. And that's just the way it goes. So I think that religiously speaking, it's what the Bible is against is you claiming to know the future and to proclaim that you know exactly what's going to happen, because of this or that. But the tarot cards don't do that. If you're using them correctly, in my opinion, they don't tell you exactly what's going to happen. You're just you may be trying to find out what's going to happen, but you don't really know. You're just, okay, this is my last darkest color, the fang green. Yeah, so you're just saying, okay, let's see what may happen. And you pull some cards, say, okay, let's see what happens. Cards don't proclaim anything's going to happen. Again, it's the way you decide to interpret it. So I could pull some cards on a question, say on an election or something or else, whatever. And I may interpret the cards as, oh, well, he's going to lose the election. Whereas somebody else could look at the same cards and say, no, I think it means he's going to win the election, So it's personal interpretation, and it's your own mind, and it's what you feel. And nobody is perfectly psychic, and people don't live by the cards. People don't, tarot readers and astrologers don't wake up in the morning and say, what should I do today? Oh, tell me cards, tell me astrology chart. What should I do today? Again, that's giving away your free will, and that's just silly nonsense, and that's not at all what astrologers and tarot card readers really do if they're mentally healthy. Now, if you have mental health issues, perhaps you would do something like that, which would be very unhealthy, and you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't give away your free will. That is wrong. So I would say that. So I would say, not what you should do. But again, the cards don't compel you or tell you what to do. You decide what you're going to do, and you get some ideas, possibly advice or more information to think about from the cards. And again, it doesn't make you perfectly psychic in any way. It doesn't give you all the answers at all. And it doesn't involve talking to spirits or doing any witchcraft or spell work or anything. It's just there are pieces of paper with pictures on it. That's it. So that's why I wanted to just bring it up, because when I heard these people saying, the cards told me, they told me to, quit my job and move across the country. That's nonsense. That's just nonsense. I mean, the cards do not tell you to do anything. You told yourself to do that. And again, we get back to mental health issues, or, if it's coming from your subconscious, maybe you were thinking about doing that and you're using the cards as an excuse. Oh, look, cards are telling me to quit my job. Yep. But let's face it, be honest. Were you already thinking that you wanted to quit your job? Because I bet you were. And you're using the cards as an excuse. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. But yeah, the cards don't tell you what to do. They're pictures. They're these unusual looking pictures. We got the tarot deck, the Rider-Waite. Show me which card is telling you to quit your job. You know what I mean? It doesn't. And again, again, it's coming from your own mind, and you have to take responsibility for that. And also just, looking at it as just a tool, a Rorschach type of tool that helps you think things through by thinking of other alternative ideas that you may get from the card to keep in mind. But again, I would say tarot readers and astrologers do not live or make their life decisions based on a card or an astrology chart. What I like with astrology, and I've been doing astrology many years, is you're looking at events and saying, oh, I wonder if the chart reflects this. So you kind of go back and you say, oh, look, yeah, I can see why that happened. This is going on in the person's chart. And or if two people are having, problems with each other, you can look at the chart and say, oh, yeah, well, this is how you can see they'd have problems with getting along with each other. But again, the astrology charts don't tell you, do this, do that, work with this person, don't work with, it doesn't do that. It's just some additional information that you could factor in. And again, it's for entertainment. It's, it's not really that. Now, some people may pretend like they could tell all these things from looking at the chart when in reality they couldn't. They're kind of like some people who are just, dishonest, in my opinion, and want to make it seem like, oh yeah, it was so obvious from the chart that, this was going to happen. Hindsight is always 20/20, but some people will pretend like they could see all of these very detailed things, like, oh, I could see the divorce was going to happen because of this. No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. They couldn't. They're just trying to make it seem like they're hot shots and selling themselves in marketing. It's and Hollywood also feeds into this as well. They depict astrologers or tarot card readers are always going to be these spooky, all-knowing, demonic being that knows everything that's going to happen. But that's just not the reality of what it's, what it can really do and what it does. And so, yeah. So I gave it a shot. I listened to the videos. I listened to what those who feel. Now, maybe one day I'll agree with them and I'll say, you know what? It's a negative influence in my life, so I'm going to stop it. I think it's, unhealthy. But because I don't have mental health issues, and I keep things in perspective, and I don't live my life by what a card says or a chart, I haven't had any issues with being a tarot card reader or an astrologer. I live my life, I do my own thing, and for fun, I will, or for entertainment on videos. People, it's entertaining. People like seeing readings on topics. And one of the things, like, you're doing a reading, say, on a very high publicity topic, something really raging in the news that everybody's talking about, like for a murder mystery, or like the missing woman, Nancy Guthrie. Has she been found yet? Hey, Tiger Eye, how are you? Hey, Karen Greer. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you do it for yourself, mostly collect them. Yeah, for the artwork. Yeah, you just take it as entertainment, as what it is. And sometimes you'll get it right. You'll be like, woo, I got it. But then other times you're going to get it wrong. And you'll be like, ah, damn, the way it is. Because it doesn't make you psychic. It doesn't. It just gives you something to see. Let's see, But I think some people are claiming. Now, these people could have had other influences going on. Maybe they did have a demonic influence around them. And telling them, quit your job right now, but that's not, the cards don't tell you what to do. I mean, that's just, I don't know, maybe there's a deck of cards out there that do tell you what to do, say, do this, do that, but you'd be pretty dumb to follow that. I'm sorry. Yeah, So, yeah, and like I said, maybe some people have mental health issues. It doesn't help with COVID and the psyop going on, making people crazier. No, well, I shouldn't say crazier, but people harming people's mental health. I bet, there's so much like talk about mental health nowadays. It's getting sort of overplayed, oversaturated, being used by the New World Order to try to get everybody on their health systems, trying to get profile everybody, children and whatnot, and put them on big pharma, pharmaceuticals. So, anyways, I don't know, I'm going off on another rant there. But, anyways, that's my take from the few videos that I watched on the topic. That they had some bad experiences and that they're going to now claim that anyone who uses tarot cards is a bad person and you're, working with demons and, all this other nonsense. Maybe some are, but certainly not my experience. And it shouldn't be assumed that just because somebody uses tarot cards, they're pieces of paper with a picture on it. What you do is on you, right? That is your... All right, so I'm thinking about that. I got those green leaves, and then I have some other green leaves here. I'm thinking maybe doing a slightly different color version of this. So give me a second. I'm going to pick a different color, I think. For the other leaves, I want them a little darker looking. Have you ever heard of anyone telling you that the cards told them to do some major life decision and they did it? I mean, I don't know anybody in real life that would do that. Again, if you're talking about a very young person, young people, teenagers may get carried away because their brains are not fully formed to begin with. Your brain isn't fully mature until you're about 25, right? So maybe they watch a movie or something, or watch TikTok videos, and they have people telling them things. That could be a youth factor, not just mental health, but a young person. Oh no, I just broke the lead of my pencil. Oh, great. All right, the lead just broke in my pencil sharpener here. It very rarely happens, but it does once in a while. Oh, good, it came out. Yes. Came right out. It's perfect. So, yeah, of what I've seen out there, I'm not convinced that tarot cards are in league with the devil or demons or anything. You are always sharing your research. No, Nancy hasn't been found. She hasn't been found yet. Wow. I wonder what's going on with that. How can it take so long to find someone? I mean, I guess that happens a lot. I shouldn't say that, right? It's pretty common, missing children and whatnot. But it's so bizarre, isn't it? Who would want to kidnap an old lady? For what purpose? So strange. All right, so now I'm going to use apple as the lightest, olive green as the mid-tone, and forest as the darker tone. And as you can see, and if you can see how small this forest pencil is. This little teeny pencil, I've used it a lot. So here we go. I love these Black Widows. I'm definitely getting through them very quickly. So let's see. So I'm going to start with the apple. It's going to be the lightest tone. So these leaves are going to be much darker. Yeah. So I mean, just a lot. It seems to me a lot of misinformation out there and people who want to think the worst of tarot and astrology. They don't know anything about it. And they're going to automatically assume the worst about you, and they're yeah, just going to flip out on you basically and be irrational about the whole thing. And that's their choice. You want to believe it's you're worshiping the devil by looking at some cards. I mean, that's your choice. But they're also putting out fallacy. They're putting out people who used to read tarot cards are going out and making these experiences they had. And I'm not saying that they're not being honest. Maybe in their mind, the cards really told them to quit their job, right? But I just want to put out my experience as a tarot card reader and tell you that the tarot cards have never, ever ordered me to do anything. And neither have astrology charts. They don't tell you what to do. They don't take away your free will. They say, looks like what this is going on, and it may be caused by this. And you get a picture and you think, what could that be? And then your mind comes up with what you think it might be. But nowhere in a tarot card does it tell you to go get plastic surgery now, or some other major decision. That's on you. That is 100% your interpretation and your responsibility for looking at a picture and interpreting it that way. And two people, again, are going to look at the same picture and come up with different ideas, always. 2, 3, 4, everybody have different interpretations. You can interpret each card in thousands of ways. I mean, it's never ending. So, yeah. I mean, I just had to... And what bothers me is that they're, although it might be their lived experience, I feel it's a lie to sit there and say, the cards told me to do this. I mean, that person is just lying and fear-mongering. See, they're fear-mongering the Christians into thinking, yes, I know about these evil cards, and this is what they told me to do. They told me to, kill my family, No, your mental illness or whatever else is going on with you is telling you to do that. The cards don't tell you to do anything. But they're encouraging the fear mongering of the alleged evil of owning a tarot deck and the actual, And I missed a couple of leaves over here, so I'm going back to my lime colors here. Missed a couple of leaves here. So let me just get this colored in real quick. Yeah, so I just felt like it's being dishonest. I'm like, don't lie to people, That's ridiculous. Don't be so ridiculous, in my opinion. That's on you. That's on you if you thought that. That's my response to it. It's like, no. So they want you to believe, they want to scare these people who don't know anything about reading tarot cards or astrology charts and say to them, see, you lose your mind, you lose your free will, and you just you're gonna end up being homeless and on the streets and talking to yourself, like really, whatever. It's really fear mongering, and I'm so sick and tired of the fear mongering, no matter where it's coming from. This hysteria they try to bring up in people. I mean, it makes for good content. That's another thing. People want to get clicks on their videos, so they're gonna make content that's a little over the top to make a good story so that they get lots of clicks, and that's gonna factor into it as well, I believe, in my opinion. So everything you have to take with a grain of salt. But I just want to emphasize, I don't know what these people's personal experiences are. They may have felt that way at the time and truly believe it. But in my personal experience of years and years, over a decade doing tarot, I have never once had a tarot card tell me what to do. I just want to put that out there. Tarot cards don't talk. And if you felt the tarot card, anyone who thinks the tarot cards are talking to them and telling them such specific things, I think it's coming from somewhere else, mental illness or something, in my opinion. Again, it all comes from you. Yes. Yeah, let me see. We all have discernment. Yeah, some folks have not developed and don't have well-founded information. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're just like want to scare people on the internet. That's what it seems to me. It's a good story, a good, like, the old days around the campfire, you would have your ghost stories, right? So it's like a good spooky story to make hysteria around a pack of cards. But again, everybody has their own opinion. If that's how you feel, it just spooks a lot of people, I think. It doesn't help when you have people who claim to know about it, make it sound even more spookier than what is the reality. And, people are coming from different headspaces, And I think particularly being young and with all the other craziness going on in the world right now, it's fear mongering seems to be the currency of the day, in my opinion. Yeah. And the clickbaity stuff, it's just a lot of people wanting to go viral and react and make their videos as outrageous as possible in one way or another. So they want to take something and blow it up to be, in my opinion, more than what it is. But again, I don't know. I don't live in their lives. I don't walk in their shoes. So maybe they did have that experience. Maybe for this particular person, the cards did talk to her. That's her experience. I have never had a card talk to me. I think if the cards did talk to me, I would stop doing them. Yeah, that would freak me out. That would be enough to throw them in the bin. I'd be like, okay, I'm done. I don't want no talking cards. Anything like that happening, yeah, I would be done with it. I would be making my videos. The cards talk to me. That's it. Done. It's over. No. Yeah, it's just yeah, you control your life and your destiny. Okay. Right, no talking cards. You can keep them to yourself. Yeah. Unbelievable. Now the only way I could think that a card would tell her like say quit your job, right? Say the cards told her quit your job right now. The only way I could see that happening is if she had a yes no card deck, and then she must have asked the question, should I leave my job, and then picked a yes or a no. Well, it's 50-50 there, and that's on you for asking the question, right? Obviously, if you asked that question, you were thinking about it already. It was in the back of your mind, because whatever's in the back of your mind may come out in a reading, because again, it's like a Rorschach test, right? I mean, what's going on in your mind there is going to come out. So if you're doing a yes-no type of oracle deck, if you ask the question and there's 50% chance of a yes or a no, I mean, is that really the cards telling you what to do, or is that you wanting the cards to tell you to do something that, all right, so this kind of thing can happen, right? So let's say you're in a terrible job. I can't imagine that happening, right? Very, very bizarre situation that never happens, right? So let's say you've got a mean boss, you hate your job, and you get a pack of oracle cards, and you ask, should I quit this job? And the cards say yes. Um, First of all, you asked that question because you wanted it to say yes. Let's face it, and you're just looking for someone else to hold responsible for it. So then you can come out and say, "Oh, well, I've got to do it now. The cards told me to. It's not me. It's the cards." It's sort of like people want to shift responsibility for their decisions onto something or someone else, and I think people sometimes try to do that to tarot readers, and we have to be on guard against that. That people will want us to say, you should do this, like you should quit your job, or whatever. And that's a no-no. That's a no-no, because you always have free will. It's up to you what to do. You don't ask a tarot reader what they should do. That's on you. You have to figure out. And the tarot cards will just, you can look at, well, how will things go, and give you some advice or something to think about regarding the situation. But cards do not tell you, and tarot readers should not tell you what to do or what you should do. They show you what may happen if you continue doing what you're doing. So usually what tarot card readers, good readers, will do is they'll say, well, let's talk about how we can improve things at your job. Obviously, you need a job. You don't have another one lined up. So you could do a reading on how could I make things better in the workplace, or you could do a reading on where could I find my next job? How do I find another job? Sometimes there's no point in trying to stay if you know it's a lost cause. So you could look into how could I, what's the best way to find, like, where I could find another job? Where could I find one, type of thing. So, you sort of try to put it into something more, put the reading into a more positive, empowering, but one where you make the final decision of what you're going to do. Don't go to a tarot reader and say, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay at this job or not? And I mean, you could try asking, but the best you're going to get is a guess that, well, it looks like this will happen. But because tarot readers are not 100% psychic, nobody is, they'll say, well, that's what it looks like to me, but it could be wrong. And, that's it. So, yeah. But again, cards don't tell you what to do. They don't take away your free will unless you give it away. Some people just give it away. Like I said, they'll get a tarot reading and they want to give away their free will, so that way they can blame you if it doesn't work out. That's the catch. It's like, yeah, you tell me what I should do, and then if it doesn't work out, then it's all your fault. My life is ruined. I don't have a job now. You told me it was a good idea to quit, so now you have to pay my rent. Something like, it's yeah, it's not good. No, you have to take responsibility for your own decisions. And if you can't do that, then you've got to look into your own mental health and say, well, why can't you take charge of your own life and make your own decisions? What's holding you back? And actually, that could be something you do a tarot reading on. Why am I having difficulty making a decision here? What do I need to keep in mind? What'll help me make up my mind? Perhaps the pros and cons. You can do a pros and cons reading. If I quit, this will happen, and how it will go in general. And if I stay, how it will go in general. Yeah, so maybe if you were seriously thinking, and I'm using the forest one now, forest color now, the darkest one. But, maybe you'll get the idea that things will improve at work, and then you may end up staying and be thankful you didn't leave or not. But again, the cards don't tell you what to do. So I question anyone who's going to make videos talking about, oh, you're in league with the devil by looking at tarot cards. At the same time, they're saying nonsense, in my opinion, things like, the cards told me to do this. You know, it's just nonsense. So I think that even if a card showed yes, it is our decision. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the fact that you're even asking the question means you're veering that way anyways, right? I mean, why would you ask if you should quit your job unless you were thinking already that you wanted to quit it? You know what I mean? So it's totally on you and where you're coming from. The cards didn't bring that up. Like, hey, yeah, your card talking here. I was just thinking about it. You should quit your job. Like as if the cards could do that, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're putting out your own ideas of what's floating around in your mind and trying to blame the cards for what you've been thinking you wanted to do. And maybe, because this can go into, we can't see our shadows, going back to Jung and the idea of projection and the idea of, our unconscious mind, our unconscious thoughts are blocked from us. So that's why we can't see when we're projecting, and everybody projects, right? We all project onto others qualities that we have, positive or negative. When it's negative, they call it projection. When it's positive, they call it the halo effect. So if you have some like celebrity or some prominent person and you really love that person, they're so wonderful and perfect, it could be that you are just recognizing on an unconscious level that you have the same qualities as that person. That's why you admire them so much. And that's something to pay attention to, because that means, well, if you have the same qualities, maybe you could do what they do if that interested you, which it probably would if you admire them so much. So anyways, but you don't see it though. We don't see our unconscious biases and the reason I'm going off on that is because the cards could perhaps help you see it, by just judging, by studying yourself, like, what am I asking about? What kind of answers am I getting? And what am I asking, right? Basically, what you want to know, why you're asking about, may just be your way of, and they do have shadow readings that tarot readers do, looking at your shadow and just, and that's what tarot cards are good for. You're, like I said, it's like a Rorschach test or something. You're tapping into that your unconscious mind. That's Dr. Hodges. He writes a lot of books covering this topic and how, our unconscious minds are like geniuses. Like, we have this genius ability that we just can't tap into because we're only using 10% of our brains. So if you could just tap into that powerful reserve of your unconscious, you could do so much more than you thought capable of, basically. So, and I think that's what tarot cards do. They can help you if you're paying attention and not only observing the cards, but observing yourself and figuring out, well, what is driving me here? Why do I keep getting the cards telling me to quit my job? Maybe that's your unconscious speaking to you, saying, hey, I think it's time to quit this job. So, you know what I mean? But it's your unconscious, not the cards telling you. So anyways. But yeah, powerful thing to tap into your unconscious. And there's only so many ways you can do it. You do it through daydreams. Daydreaming is, pay attention to your daydreams, because that can be a manifestation. Pay attention to people you strongly dislike to the point where you have a visceral reaction to them. Because, guess what? They may be exhibiting a characteristic you have. And again, we all do this. But the point is being aware why you do this. And maybe I have a reaction to anti-tarot reading videos. Oh, I gotta step away for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about projection now because these videos bother me. Uh, but no, I think it's just a matter of putting the truth out there about uh, not, I don't like the fear mongering and the exaggeration of some claims about what the cards actually do. Yeah. All right, bye, Karen. Yeah, lovely catching up with you. Good to see you. Yeah, so that was just my topic for the day. This is a topic I hesitated. I was going to bring up earlier, but you know, certain things I don't like. I don't like making videos that are clickbait. You know, I'm not. I mean, sure, I like if my videos got more views, that would be wonderful. But I mean, I don't do videos to stoke drama. But I felt like uh, this is really actually harmful. And I'm sick of being sitting back quietly and letting others take this holier than thou kind of position, you know, that you must be a horrible human being because you read tarot cards. It's infuriating because they're just, I don't know if they're lying or just exaggerating or they're just really messed up and had messed up experiences with cards, which I believe is on them. But again, you're talking, you know, about a religious aspect of this where they want to push their particular agenda and you're not allowed to question it, you know, because they've, you know, they feel that this is part of their, they're ordained by God, basically. And, you know, you're going to argue with God? Yeah, I don't think so, right? But they're going to feel like that. But I question not the sincerity, but the real nature of their experience and where it came from. Did a card really stand up and say, quit your job? Or did you do that on your own? And it wouldn't have mattered if it was a card or a cup or a sign of some sort or a dream, you know. Again, yeah, free will, free will. You always have free will. Cards do not take away free will unless you give it up. And if you give up your free will, that's on you. You decide to do that. If you want to get a yes-no oracle deck and ask it yes-no questions and then follow the yes-no answers from a deck of cards, that's on you, okay? I'm sorry. The cards are not evil. You are voluntarily giving up your free will, which is, you could look at that as evil. I'm sure God gave you free will to use it and keep it, not to give it away. Kind of like when Safe and Effectives came out and people just gave up and did that, gave up their free will a bit there, just saying. But the point is, it's on you if you give up your free will. It's not because a card told you to do, forced you to do something. You know what I mean? Yeah. But hey, maybe she had some heavy spiritual environment. Maybe her house was haunted, or, I don't know what the situation in her life was and what she was surrounded by. It could have been other things going on that I'm not, so I'm not in any way judging or calling her a liar or anything. She may authentically believe the card told her to do that. And apparently she went to a reader. Okay, so she went to a reader who told her the same thing. But again, readers are not psychic. Now, again, you're going to have the charlatans who are going to pretend to be psychic and know just because they love the power. But you can always tell those types. You know what I mean? You can always tell the type of reader who gets off on the power and be like, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, no, it's not, I know, yeah, this is what you got to do. Like when you get that kind of sort of bossy, know-it-all kind of reader, some people are drawn to that, right? Maybe they are drawn to the certainty that person seems to have, but that certainty most likely or not is going to be from narcissism, not from actually knowing anything of worth. You know what I mean? I personally do not like that kind of, know-it-all. I know everything. I know exactly what you should do. And, I wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't. But, maybe some people, particularly young people, may fall for that and really believe that they know everything. Because, wow, they knew something. The cards told them something and they were right. It's like, well, yeah, there's probably a good guess. There's certain things you can, figure out. Like, for example, just off the top of my head, if you wanted to make it seem like, you know what's going on, someone comes in for a reading and the reader says something like, oh, you're having relationship issues with, problems with your boyfriend. I can see that. And the girl may be like, oh my gosh, she knew, I have relationship issues. It's like, well, who doesn't have relationship issues when you're in a relationship, particularly as a teenager? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it could come from the cards too, but, that's just going to be, but some people may walk away thinking that, wow, they knew, wow, it must work, It's like, no, it just happened. This is my opinion. Coincidence, or, just luck of the draw there. Literally luck of the draw, drawing the card. Anyways, so I will stop with this. But I just wanted to address the issue because I've been wanting to mention it earlier, bring up this topic earlier. It is a kind of a touchy topic, I think, and one that people have strong feelings about. But again, I felt strongly to address it, my opinion, give my 2 cents on it, because there's just so much ignorance out there on the realities and spreading of unnecessary, interpretations of what people actually experience. And again, if you've got mental health issues, Yeah, you're probably gonna have issues with whatever you deal with, and um, yeah, and clickbaits. That's gonna be a topic that would bring a lot of clicks. Would be talking about um, things of a religious or spiritual, demonic nature. Because I believe she called them like demonic cards. It's like, whoa, So, and that topic in general, I think, is one that would get a lot of clicks, right? So there's incentive there by the person to make a video and get a lot of views from that. Because there are, all different topics and any interviews with Satanists and what they're doing and things like that. You want to know, what are they doing, so it's a lot of people who are going to be interested in wanting to know, like, what's really going on. But yeah, I mean, I was just so disappointed in these videos. I thought they were going to be, I thought they might change my mind. I'm like, okay, let's watch this. Maybe I will decide to stop being a tarot reader today and that'll be it. I'm done. But no, that's not what happened. Instead, I walked away thinking, oh, you're so full of it. And that's impossible. And I mean, not that it's impossible. Maybe you think either you're just saying these things to get clickbait, or you really did experience these things, but it's certainly not from a deck of cards. It's something else going on, maybe multiple things. She may have left out in the story that, oh, I was drinking bourbon and gin at the time, and under the influence of some drugs, and when the tarot card talked to me and told me what to do. Like, I mean, you got to look at everything going on. Like, wait, what's going on in your life at the time? How old were you? Because yeah, it could be other factors. But someone could honestly say, yeah, the card told me to do this. Well, yeah, if you were under the influence at the time, yeah, maybe I'm sure you got. It's quite possible you did get a message like that or an impression like that, and really felt it was true. You're truly getting a message like that. So yeah, so you got to look at everything. There's so many factors that could be playing into this, but I just wanted to mention that because maybe some people are going to walk away thinking that all tarot readers are, being told what to do by their cards every day. Like the tarot cards told me to color this book. I'm only coloring this picture because the tarot cards told me to. I mean, like, it's just nonsense, but maybe some people would believe that if somebody, sincerely says that, or maybe somebody with mental health issues or drug addiction problems, really believes that. You know what I mean? So that's, anyways, I'm talking too long in this. I apologize. I'm ranting on and on. So it's a topic that interests me, obviously. So there you have it. Those are the leaves done. I'm going to go ahead with my blender here and just make it a little smoother, as smooth as the paper is, and the Black Widows. You use a little bit more smoothing here. So I'm happy to have more of this page done. I have been dragging my feet to get this done. I do want to finish it. I do want to get a lot more of this book done this year, as well as some other books. I have so many books to color I want to get to. It's very relaxing, and I can just sit and color and mull over things and bore you. Apologies if I'm boring anyone. All this, just such a contentious topic. It's such a hot topic, and I hear it again and again, about this type of thing of like Doreen Virtue, right? She's another example. She made a ton of money. She's very famous in the card community, and suddenly she finds religion. She goes through a bad divorce and has some struggles, and she blames the tarot cards, and she joins a religious group, joins a church, and they convince her that cards are of the devil and that she's going to get rid of everything. So she like went out of her way to get her name off the deck of cards that she made, and made the publisher take her name off, and she didn't want anything else to do with it. So like she like did a 180, a complete 180. Like she went from being a success story like so many people would, love to have, with her, cards, and she would speaking and teaching classes. And now suddenly she founded this church and did a 180, and now she's like, the cards are the devil, you're going to hell, really. So this is kind of, and you hear this again. There was a tarot reader a long time ago in the Megxit community. I don't know if anybody remembers her. She was around for a while. I'm sure if you were there in the back. That was another one. She was doing tarot readings, and she had her own particular deck that she had, a deck of cards. And people kept messaging me saying, oh, look at her cards. You should get a deck like hers. Look at that. And like I felt like people were trying to get me to watch her, like get her more attention. Probably Meghan Markle and her Sussex and her PR behind this woman. I don't know. The fact, the way they pushed her, so many people were bothering me about, like, watch this reader, watch this, look at the cards she's using. And I looked at the cards and they weren't anything special. And I did not get them because I did not like them. But anyways, surprisingly, I own about like every other deck out there. But anyhow, I own a lot of decks. But what was that point? Oh, she turned around and said, oh, I found God. I'm going to church. I'm not doing tarot readings anymore. Bye. So it was like, so Doreen Virtue, and this woman did it in the Megxit community. And I'm seeing people online, scaring people with these horror stories of when they were a reader and what they experienced, and and how it is, in their opinion, it is evil, and you should just pray for those tarot readers because, they're obviously going to hell, I mean, really horrible things to say when their experience of what they allegedly went through, doesn't sound correct to me at all. It sounds, and that, so I'm getting the vibe that they're being, if you're, Lucifer is the father of lies, and what they're saying is untrue, in my opinion. So from my perspective, this appears to be like a Meghan Markle claiming that the royal family is racist. Well, I believe these people are like accusing tarot readers of asking about their skin color, let's say, I think they're pushing the evil here with their lies. So that's what I think. And again, they might not be lying. They might just be exaggerating or giving their lived experience. But their lived experience is pretty messed up, if you ask me, and is not the lived experience of most people who read cards. So, right, because you can't argue with someone else's lived experience. I'm not trying to, but I would say that their lived experience is not the truth. Far from it, in fact, in my opinion. Yeah. So, but they have this. They're coming at from a Seven of Wands perspective. They're on their high horse, right, on their pedestal. I found God. I'm going to church every Sunday, and I say you're doing this with your cards. You're going to hell. But they're coming from this place like, I speak for God. Who do you speak for? So it's really quite twisted and evil, in my opinion, because what they're saying makes no sense, and it's inversion. It's absolute, like, it's crazy. I mean, but it makes sense though. I mean, that is how, we think about it, that is how the devil would work. The devil would parade around like they're a good Christian, right? Just saying, that would be a good cover for him, right? I'm just saying, so yeah, like someone like me, I don't pretend to be a saint, but I also don't don't do uh, do my best to not do evil because all human beings are sinners. So we all have that propensity. But yeah, that's that's all I'm gonna say on it. As I would say that's a very good potential cover for the devil him to come out with. Yeah, just saying. That's what it's. Those are my thoughts, and I've been talking a long time about this. But I've been thinking about this. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, and I finally spit it out. Bourbon and gin, yeah, Tiger Eye. The greens are lovely. Thank you, thank you. Yes, so I think I'm gonna stop right there. I've done all my greens, and I have to figure out what colors. What colors do you think I should do the cups? Do like a pinkish. I've got to do these flowers too. I'm trying to figure out what colors to do these two big flowers or these three. Yeah, I might do maybe yellow or I don't know. We'll see. I want to keep it harmony, so yeah, I'll figure out maybe red or something purplish. So there you have it. That's what I have done for today. So great seeing you, Tiger Eye. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for listening to me blather on. And until next time, oops, I got hiccups now. So I will gonna end it there. So until next time, I'll see you either here or in another tarot video. All right, take care. Bye bye.